Good evening, Summoners. Welcome to the GPL 2015 Spring Split. My name is Wolf. Of course, alongside me on the casting desk tonight will be Flavors. So it's this duo combo that you saw yesterday, bringing you some more exciting action that we have for the GPL right here in the Garena Stadium.
That's right, it's the end of the week, but only the start of the day for us, and it is going to be a very, very exciting day ahead. I mean,
Definitely.
like you said, we were already casting yesterday's games.
Oh boy.
And we saw basically a whole bunch of craziness go down. You know, sister teams clashing, and then, you know, newcomers trying to take on veterans. Really, really a fun set of games yesterday. And today, I hope to see, well, I want to say a bit more refinement in the game.
Hold on to that newcomers versus veterans thought, because we will talk about that later on. Let's take a look at what we have for the group standings. Yesterday, of course, we had our Group A matches. Asus Fate up against the Bangkok Titans. I have to say, some of the most exciting games that we've seen all night, at least this week we have here. Bangkok Titans, of course, going 2-0 against Asus Fate, claiming them the top spots of their group and securing their seed in the next round of the group stages after they move on from this side of the group. And of course, GameX War Gods took out War Gods PID Diamond in a 2-0 fashion, securing them their first win and the 3 points, tying them up with Asus Fate. So there we have the Group A standings. Let's take a look at what we have for today's matches.
Alright, today it will be the Kuala Lumpur Hunters going up against the Insidious Gaming Legends. And if that matchup sounds familiar to any of you, that's because, of course, in the Legends circuit, they have been clashing previously. So this is going to be a local brawl. If you are in Singapore, drop by the Bugis Plus Garena Stadium to join us for the live action, as we already do have a little bit of a crowd brewing. Do come by if you're free. And following that, it will be Zotac269 going up against Bizarro K-Thanks Spy for the second set of today's games.
Yeah, if we actually take a look at the group, there's nothing much to look at because this group has not played just yet. It's week number 2, and this is round number 1 from Group D. It's going to be really exciting. Kuala Lumpur Hunters, Insidious Gaming Legends, Zotac269, and Bizarro K-Thanks Spy are the teams that you will be seeing today. Let's go back to this newcomer versus veterans thing.
Yeah.
Veterans of the GPL, Kuala Lumpur Hunters, everyone knows who they are. The Malaysian community really puts their back in their, you know, kind of cheers them on. We saw in the TLC, if you actually, let's talk a little bit more about that, vote for the Kings of the Lanes. Every single Kuala Lumpur Hunter member has now been voted the king of their respective lane. So we talk about popularity contest for the veterans KLH. Hey, they definitely have the crowd in their wins, in their favor.
Definitely, and I think that should heavily favor, well, I want to say, not quite swing, but it does favor them going into this matchup. Because, you know, previously in the past, KLH has always been around, but they haven't really gotten to that first position, really, you know, to use that term, kings. Maybe they're kings of their lane, but they haven't really shown themselves to be kings of the game. You know, they've been second, trailing behind a little bit. Now that they have the crowd saying, we want each one of your members to be termed kings, for goodness sake, you know, better deliver, guys.
We want to see, and this will be the test to see if they can really dominate their lanes. I mean, if the crowd is behind them, let's see whether is it just fan votes based on popularity, or do they have the skill to muster up to that position? And we talk about newcomers. I want to use this term newcomers because Insidious Gaming Legends, brand new team coming in here. They have been in the GPL for about a split already, but take a look at their roster. LY4, Hallelujah, Rune, Valkyrie, and Rapier. LY4 and Hallelujah, no, what's the word here? Strangers to the GPL.
Definitely not. Not at all.
There we go. Bans and picks underway. Game number 1 between Insidious Gaming Legends and the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Let's take a look at the bans, Flavors.
Alright, so IGL will be removing Syndra and Pantheon early on into the ban phase. And of course, Syndra isn't one we've seen banned out all too much. A lot of the times it's been in the past. Warwick in 4.20, Nar in 4.21 now. We are playing on the 4.21 patch to clarify. But it does seem that they do not want to be going up against Azora Vecchi's ability to basically dominate lane on Syndra. I mean, we talk about Kings of the Lanes, guys, and Syndra is definitely one of those champions that throughout the patches, I think even now, still very, very dominant in the lane. In fact, just yesterday, I believe we saw quite a few, oh, not quite a few Syndra performances. No, I don't think it was yesterday. I'm trying to cast my mind back, but the competitive scene here.
Anyway, there have been a lot of matches that we've been casting,
Yeah.
a lot of matches that we've been watching. Syndra, very good laner. Let's move on to the next picks, next bans first. Pantheon and Thresh, of course, on the side of IGL Legends. Morgana and Xerath. Again, Xerath, one of those very safe champions to play in the lane as well as in the game during the team fights. Really fun stuff happening there.
And of course, Lissandra, we talked about that a little bit in yesterday's matches. I am certain, of course, that we did cover that yesterday. Lissandra, we saw...
Lissandra.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to say about it. Very strong. We're not going to see it right here. Insidious Gaming Legends, though, will be hovering over that Jarvan pick. They did see Gnar escape the ban prison, so this wild little Yordle will be roaming around, a prehistoric Yordle. Something out of Jurassic Park, actually, but... Kuala Lumpur Hunters here will not have that Jarvan and Gnar combo available for them.
So the Narvan combo.
The Narvan combo.
Narvan combo. Something you don't want to quite name your kids, guys. Narvan, don't think that's a top priority for you, but what is top priority for the IGL squad will be that Jarvan pick. Still very, very strong in the current meta. His ability to apply early pressure, of course, hasn't diminished in the least.
Yeah, even in the 421 patch with the Trailblazer being changed, you still see either the Trailblazer being picked up because it's a very safe machete upgrade, or you might even see the Stalker's Blade being used by Jarvan players to get the additional slow, go into the flag and drag combo. Let's see what the Kuala Lumpur Hunters have up their sleeve in their first rotational picks.
And the important thing about Jarvan as well, which we did see yesterday, is that he provides that ability on the jungler for engage. So we've seen in the past, or rather the importance of poke and basically keeping the enemy at bay at this meta, and what teams are now picking up to counter that is hard engage. And if you're going to be picking poke in your mid laner, Lissandra in the top lane, things that kind of want to wait a little while to engage, then you need to pack some sort of engage in a champion like Jarvan coming out of the jungle, so he fits that fantastically. KLH might be on a similar train of thought here if they do pick up the Rammus. And wow, actually going to go for that Nautilus. Now we did see Nautilus yesterday as well, and I think the word for it is...
You know how Nautilus is being weighed down by his anchor?
Underwhelming?
I'm going to just say that, you know, he did not anchor his team and he weighed down to the bottom of the sea. He was weighing his team down to the bottom of the sea. And while really quick picks coming in from the ISG Legends squad here, Rumble in the top, LY4 plays a really mean Rumble. I'm actually quite surprised he did not auto-lock the Irelia here. I mean,
yeah,
it is
mean Irelia.
It is his Irelia.
His Irelia in the region.
It is.
Definitely made a name for himself playing that Irelia.
Of course, it's the Jarvan Rumble combo, the Rumvan. I don't know. I'm just.
We could keep trying. It's still early on, guys. Do give us a little while to find those perfect ways of describing the combos for you. But definitely the confidence to lock it in just shows that IGL is coming into this game with a plan, and I'm really glad to see the Lucian picked up as well, because that shows that even in the 4.21 patch, these players have the confidence to go up against none other than the voted kings of the lane and say, we're still going to pick up Lucian. I still think he is really potent with his passive, even after the diminish from 6 to 3 seconds on the Light Slinger. And look at what Jaeyoung's picked up to answer that. He's not afraid of the lane dominance that Lucian will bring out, saying, I'm going to fare well enough in the early and mid game. And once it comes to late game...
Vayne has a pretty... to use the word, horrendous laning phase, honestly, against a Lucian. And to see what ISG Legends actually round off their composition with, will it be the Janna, will it be the Thresh here? Thresh against Leona, that's one of those
Thresh
picks.
banned. Yeah, Thresh banned.
Thresh is banned, so will it be the Janna, will it be the Braum? The Braum-Leona matchup, really interesting as well. You don't want any of them to come in your face exactly. And Rune here might be picking out another of his signature plays on either LeBlanc or the Zed coming in. That really rounds off the composition quite well. They do lock in these champions. Either LeBlanc or the Zed will be good for those picks coming in. And then we have the Braum to follow up on the initiation using his Glacial Fissure.
That's right. And if you look at the composition on the side of KLH, really clearly, unless they pick up something very high damage in the mid lane, it's a protect the Vayne composition.
It is protect the Vayne composition. I was about to talk about it. I mean, Kuala Lumpur Hunters here have completely zero damage in the mid game. I mean, previously we saw, let's cast our mind back to the Bangkok Titans versus Asus Fate matchup. Yeah. We were talking about how much damage they were lacking in the mid game without items. Kuala Lumpur Hunters here, even with those items, they have no damage on their team composition right now.
It's really about keeping Jaeyoung alive. He is, of course, the captain of the team. There was a period of time where he was playing in the...
He played in the mid, he played in jungle.
All over, basically, you know. So he really has this team built around him that he directs. And hey, if you can keep alive your captain, and he's the one just ordering you around in the team fights, making sure that you know exactly what to do at any given point in time in all the chaos, well, then you might just have a great composition on your hands. However, I do feel that IGL is savvy to this composition. The pickup of Zed rather than LeBlanc means that it is so easy to just get to that backline. If they get rid of the Vayne, they now do have to worry still of the damage that can come out from Ziggs.
Yeah,
but
Ozoroveki very comfortable on that champion. I have to talk about it. Ozoroveki constantly playing those Ziggs, placing the satchel charges and the bombs quite well. He's rather comfortable on that champion. So Kuala Lumpur Hunters, you're defaulting to some of the more comfortable champions. Caspio, really comfortable on Leona, Ozoroveki on Ziggs, and of course Jaeyoung. I mean, it's either the Ezreal or the Vayne for him on his part.
Yeah, I mean, Jaeyoung really plays with a lot of confidence. Some people have faulted him in the past.
Abandon at times.
Yes, and it's something that we saw carry over in his time in the jungle. I wonder, having seen kind of the results of such excess aggression, whether that will be toned down, especially when he's playing the likes of a Vayne.
Yeah, we
But
will
I
have
mentioned
to see.
Leona, of course, because when you pick that up, it does mean that you usually want some form of aggression in your lane. We'll have to see how they play that out. Again, we did touch on the Leona combination with the likes of a Nautilus, where you could chain your CC, Maokai, but we didn't see that happening yesterday.
Did not. I also have to talk about the fact that we kind of coined this as a protect the Vayne composition, but don't you think Kuala Lumpur Hunters had a lot more options to choose different champions to suit that composition a bit better? You have the Lee Sin for the zone control, as well as the initiation potential and the zone, like I said. And instead of the Leona, that actually is more of a frontline initiator, you could have picked up the Nami or the Janna for disengage in order for you to protect the Vayne. In addition to that, you've got a shield or maybe the Tidecaller's Blessing and
That's
the
right.
Ebb and Flow. So I'm not entirely sure what Kuala Lumpur Hunters are going for. I can see a lot of good initiation, but not say a lot of damage follow-up. I mean, they would much rather have the Jarvan in their team composition. They definitely would rather have something like a Lucian as well to kind of follow up that burst damage, initial amount of burst damage coming out on their side. ISG Legends, on the other hand, I mean, it's a really well-rounded team comp. I like what you have picked here. Let's see if they can use it and just kind of show Kuala Lumpur Hunters how to kind of play the AoE Wombo combo.
That's right. I mean, IGL will definitely be looking for those moments to land all their spells in quick succession, to just lock everybody down in a fiery cataclysm pit of doom, really. And then in all that chaos, Rune will be seeking out Jaeyoung's Vayne in the back. But I do want to point out this pickup of the Braum, because they were hovering over the Janna for a little bit, and we were talking about disengage just a moment ago. And I do really like the Braum pickup here, because so many people have been like, Janna, Janna, Janna in this meta. But I do think that looking at the composition of KLH, the Braum pickup makes a lot of sense, because while Janna can reset the fight and push away certain members such as Maokai, Nautilus after they jump onto you, they're still very, very tanky.
They are.
And what Braum allows you to do is, with his passive, is you can, you know, chain the CC a few times over again. And we're talking about Lucian with his double shot. So I think it's
you're
great
running
synergy.
the concussive blows as well. In addition to that, with Azoroveki picking the Ziggs, of course, that was the last rotational picks. They could not have seen that coming, but still, Brahman is unbreakable. Hey, there's additional synergy right there,
Sure.
or anti-synergy against the Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Yeah, and it's just good to see once again, you know, we saw very quick lock-ins coming in from IGL. That
really quick.
they're very, very ready. Of course, these two teams know each other very well, right? They've played in the Singapore-Malaysia circuit. They know what both teams are capable of bringing to the table. And of course, we do see, again, the tendencies of both these teams coming to
Definitely.
light. I mean, KLH, Jaeyoung is always at the center of it somehow. I do want to see how their gameplay changes a bit, because when we saw him in the jungle role, KLH looked to be very over-aggressive at certain points in time.
Yeah, I'm going to be really worried about KLH and their aggression as well, because if you talk about the early to mid-game power, it will all be in the hands of IGL Legends. Insidious Gaming Legends here have Rumble, great lane bully.
Yes.
Does decent against Maokai. I mean, Maokai doesn't really have a really tough lane against most top laners, but we look at the rest of the lanes, even in the jungle. Jarvan against Nautilus, that's going to favor heavily in Jarvan's side. We've got Zed against Ziggs, and again, Ziggs is very much a skill matchup, but Zed has a lot more outs than Ziggs does.
Sure.
And it's a lot easier to land those shurikens as well. Finally, in the bottom lane, we talk about Vayne Leona against Lucian Braum. I mean, if you've ever faced a Lucian lane against either a Thresh support or a Braum support, you know how horrendously tiring it is to just try to dodge out those Winter's Bite and concussive blows. In addition to that, the Light Slinger, that's just going to be a really scary lane overall.
That's right, and now that we're into game, let's take a look at the lineup. Spawning on the blue side, it will be Insidious Gaming Legends, the Singaporean team, LY4 on Rumble in the top lane, Hallelujah on Jarvan the 4th in the jungle, Rune on Zed in the mid lane, and Valkyrie and Rapier in the bottom lane on Lucian and Braum respectively.
Yeah, that's right. Playing on the red side is going to be the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. As you can see, hailing from Malaysia, I mean, hey, if the name didn't give it away already, we have in the top lane 13 Ghosts playing Maokai, Moon on Nautilus in the jungle, Ozorveki in the mid lane on Ziggs, and of course in the bottom lane or the dual lane is going to be Jae-Young Jo and Caspiel playing Vayne as well as Leona.
And the barrier on Jae-Young's side is very interesting as well, because barrier in the early stages of the game does give you more protection than heal. You know, the shield is actually stronger than the heal values you get. So we talked about this Leona pick and how it would factor in. I want to say that Caspiel and Jae-Young will play with the confidence of showing some aggression in the lane. But then again, it's strange because you pick up the barrier, but then you have the exhaust as well, and not the ignite. So if you're really going for kills on Leona, you take the ignite. And we'll just have to see how exactly they play that lane, and in fact, it looks like they will be swapping away from it. So, KLH with the early game plan to just give Vayne the safe farm she needs.
Yeah, actually, let's take a look at this. If they do swap lanes, what does this mean for IG Legends here?
Well, the good thing for IGL is that they have that deep ward, and that's something we don't see from many teams, right? So they clearly know that this is a strategy that KLH will bring out. Now, the good thing for IGL when they do this is that it's not all too bad for LY4 and Hallelujah to do the double jungle together, because what it can do is apply a lot of pressure mid lane. When you have this double jungle going, it is a very strong possibility to go to mid, force the flash out early, and then because you know the jungle's a little bit delayed, but your top laner can join you as well in terms of providing good CC when you go for a gank. And we'll have to see if they pull that off.
Okay, this is a really interesting start from Moon. He smited the red camp instantly as it spawned, so he wants the cooldown on smite, but does not want the additional health gain from the Bramble back. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to do here with the double jungle, and look at his 3 camps already taken on the side of IG Legends compared to the 2 on this dual jungle.
That's right. So we really will have to see what are the what is the pathing on the side of the Jarvan once he's done, because again, Jarvan just has so much early pressure with the lane swapping. He is, I don't want to say, you know, set behind a little bit too much. Yes, the path becomes a little bit more predictable, but if they want to go pressure mid a little bit, that is a possibility for them. Wave already pushing up towards top lane though. LY4 is a little bit low, so I do expect them to
tanking
back
quite a bit here.
And they actually give a lot of XP over to Harley.
Huh. This is really interesting. I mean, okay, I understand that, you know, the minion wave is being frozen by both these bottom laners, so it might be beneficial. Is that the word?
Right, and I do have to point out this moment right here where Nautilus actually came down to get that ward. That would have been the moment for the mid, or excuse me, for the jungle in the top to make their own push into established vision to spot the Nautilus, and that would have been a time for them to catch them out, because it's a very strange timing for LY4 to actually go back to top lane. Not so much the wave that's been frozen, I mean, that's expected, but he's level 1. For whatever reason in the jungle sharing of experience, he didn't actually get that level 2.
We will have to see. I mean, nothing has really panned out just yet. We are all just speculating on what could be the possible reasons. Maybe they could have made a different play.
Level 2 from 1 minion.
One minion. So
alright, not too bad.
But like I said, or like you said, IG Legends could have been kind of waiting for, could have possibly set up a gank in the jungle itself, invading that weak Nautilus early start. But technically, after you get your second level onto the Titan's Wrath, which is the shield here, Nautilus has a pretty easy time in the jungle as well.
That's right. It's just the predictability of the path when you lane swap or you do the double jungle wasn't quite abused on the side of IGL. That might have been, of course, due to the fact that the waves were already pushing in. They didn't want to waste any more time. LY4 did need to go back to base to heal up to be healthy to catch that wave. And, oh, it's only a 5-3 difference, but nevertheless, it counts. And actually a very early pink ward in the river by 13 Ghosts. So he doesn't want to be caught out in his time soloing against Valkyrie's Lucian. In the top side, Harley will be getting that Scuttle Crab, and it looks like Moon's focus then is actually on the top lane. Would they go for the dive onto the Rumble? They don't have vision of the Jarvan until about now in the mid
there
lane.
we go. We have the roaming Braum as well in the mid lane. It is going to be Azura Vecchi with his satchel charge for the escape, so that's going to be an easy one. No summoners burnt just yet. However, look at Valkyrie having a fantastic time in the bottom lane, just farming up all day long. It's going to be 36 to 35 CS, and 13 Ghosts doesn't have anything at all in his name.
That's right, and I do feel that IGL, well, I don't want to say not totally unprepared for the lane swap. They need to. It feels like they need to do a little bit more. They should clearly know that with KLH initiating this, they're getting Jaeyoung's farm to about the same level of dilution. The very fast pick of dilution, just showed to me once again that Valkyrie, as well as the whole of IGL, wanted to have some sort of lane dominance. This is not what they're getting. They are getting a little bit of a benefit just from having LY4 farm a little bit more. That ward isn't even in the bush, I believe, or is it? I believe it is.
I actually do like what's happening right now from the side of IG Legends. Take a look at where Braum is moving. There we see the initiation onto Hallelujah. Caspiel now with the Eclipse. Now we see Moon join the fight. It's going to be the Unbreakable jumping into the Winter's bike here. The dangers of the knockup on two members. They're going to try to turn it around. Let's see what's going to happen. The exhaust and the teleport coming in onto this one. It's going to be a 4 versus 3 situation. Will the Twisted Advance come out? It's going to be a teleport burnt here. Very good aggression coming from IG Legends, but good damage juggling on the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters as well. The roam from Rune at level 6 is something that is extremely deadly. They timed it in such a way that if Kuala Lumpur Hunters continue to fight, it would have turned extremely dangerous. It will become an extremely dangerous situation for them. That's
right, and that was exactly my point, that they needed to do something to show KLH that they couldn't get away for free by issuing or initiating this lane swap, because Vayne was just getting so much free farm. You can see that little bit of pressure not only push her back to base, got the summoners down, but importantly forcing the teleport out as well. That's important measured aggression which allows Valkyrie to push up the lane himself, get that CS advantage. Now he has the BF sword, so if they swap back the lanes, then they will definitely have the lane dominance they have. And look at where the duo is going now.
Yeah,
they're
that's
gonna
right.
clash.
They're going to normalize the lanes. I also had to commend Kuala Lumpur Hunters though. They know that they have lost a lot of dragon pressure. So look at what they did in terms of the warding. You talked about the early vision wall. I think that was very much to do with the dragon control that they could have lost there. So great job for, just kind of warding out that area so that, they know if any sort of dragon attempts will be happening anytime soon.
That's right, and it's parallel vision wards placed. Ooh, Valkyrie actually gets caught a little bit right here, but Jaeyoung does have to be careful. Again, the timing of that aggression from IGL really nicely done, because Valkyrie got to free farm his way to that BF sword. We'll be feeling very confident in this lane, and I was just talking about the parallel setup of the vision. Pink ward top side in the river for IGL, pink ward bottom side for KLH, and it's a little bit ironic because we knew from the time of Jaeyoung as a jungler, he actually camped top side so much, but it looks like the focus this time with him bottom side is get the vision bottom side. So I think KLH definitely reflecting their focus around their team captain here, even in their vision.
In addition to that as well, if we take a look at... thought Rapier might be stepping in for a trap now. They've actually pinged it with those danger pings, and they know that Dragon is being dealt with right now, so they're going to look for another objective. Like I said, this debate can go on over and over again. It's the first Dragon worth contesting. I say it's not worth losing a team fight for.
Yeah, when they have zero vision in there,
yeah,
and you're talking about the chain CC that can come out from Moon and Caspio, and if Ziggs gets involved too, definitely not worth it. So what they do need to do though is take note of the approximate timing when the opponents or when KLH comes back to lane with that dragon buff. They should have an estimate of it and then stop the train in the second, right? The first one, sure, you don't have vision of it. Make sure you get vision of the second, because that would be too pricey for them. And we do see, once again, focus topside for them. Although 13 Ghost is, we know he's well aware of this. Look at that, sapling timing catching just as the jungler pops up.
The pressure though from ISG Legends a lot better than the pressure that Kuala Lumpur Hunters have been putting down in the lanes. However, because of this, the topside focus from ISG Legends has allowed a completely free dragon to be taken by Kuala Lumpur Hunters. This could bite them quite badly in the butt here if they continue to do stuff like that.
Yes, and that is the correct call for them to make though. Knowing that the dragon was taken at approximately this window, they can go for an advantage in the top side, knowing that the numbers advantage isn't there. Do you have to say Rapier and Harley have been here for a long, long time, though? They need to make up their mind. They're
gonna go for this.
They have to go for this.
They're gonna go for this. This might blow at least a flash coming in from 13 goes. There we go, the flash being blown. The equalizer and the vengeful maelstrom as well, just for flavor.
Just for flavor, indeed. They have managed to burn some summoners by Jae-Young as well as 13 Ghosts, but neither have quite been capitalized on just yet. Top lane dominance is in favor, or top lane is just simply being dominated really. 42 to 27 is LY4's Maokai compared to the, or rather his Rumble compared to the Maokai, excuse me. And then a mid lane focus. So they've actually rotated Valkyrie into the mid lane to try and get some pressure there. And what that's done is, of course, allow Jae-Young to free farm. So IGL, they definitely seem to have a game plan in mind. The question is, can KLH deflect enough of the aggression? So far, so good by them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been really tactical decisions coming out from the side of IG Legends here, as well as the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. I mean, Dragon for turret, and then we have, you know, very passive play coming out from the laners because they know that there's a roaming Braum. They also know that there's a roaming Nautilus and the Jarvan, so we will have to see how who decides to turn on the aggression here. The depth charge coming in. Rune might be taken down really low here. The teleport as well being cancelled out now by LY4. So no fight started there. A little bit of a panic button being pressed by LY4 to join the fight here. So nothing really happening against this one. Rune should have known that, you know, Veki had some backup in the form of Moon there. Did not have to take all those unnecessary damage from those ultimates and spells.
That's right. So this is the point in time where, given the dominance of, whoa, very, very aggressive going into this, they have the numbers advantage though. TP coming from the back though.
TP is coming from the back. They're going to back off from this one. It's going to be a 4 versus 5 scenario. It's going to be a 5v5 now. They're going to jump right in. Rune's the first one to go down. LY4 in the danger zone gets locked down by Nautilus. There we see the Zenith Blade coming in. Stun onto Valkyrie. Will they see? Oh, there we go. Jarvan and his red buff taking down Caspio. They trade 1-for-1 mid laner for support. I think Kuala Lumpur Hunters here reacted quite well. However, can IG Legends with their healthy members continue to siege onto these turrets in the mid lane as well as in the top? Yeah, I mean the bottom.
So good timely aggression once again from IGL, recognizing that the Ziggs ultimate had been burned, the Nautilus ultimate had been burned. Oh, and they might get Jae-Young here.
Yeah, Jae-Young, you're going down. No flash, no barrier, no more final hour. That is just curtains for you, and like you said, really timely aggression coming in, forcing Kuala Lumpur Hunters to react. They did lose first blood, however, they're going to gain 2 turrets off of this one.
That's right, and I think this is what IGL has to do. IGL has to do this against KLH because they know, first off, that KLH was already starting off the game wanting to basically scale.
Play the late game.
Right? Play the late game, force them into these situations, punish them for using the likes of the Ziggs ultimate and even the Nautilus ultimate. Basically not for anything. They didn't even get the flash from Rune at all with those exchanges. He just shadow swapped out of danger. Do have to say though that the play or the aggression from IGL timed well, but the execution not quite there. We didn't really see the Cataclysm as well as the Rumble ultimate in sync. Rune got horrendously outplayed just by Jae-Young's invisibility in his tumble and went down immediately in the team fight. So definitely good moves coming out from IGL, while not the most cleanly executed. KLH will be looking for their own windows to capitalize on those slight mistakes.
Oh boy, I mean, we talk about mistakes as well as, you know, mechanical errors here. Rune just dove in without doing anything at all.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good showing of, you know, a champion that he is known to be quite the veteran in, actually. I mean, he's comfortable at least on that champion.
Alright, and with the bottom tower just having a little bit of HP left, I would think that this is a nice place for them to set up, knowing, or for KLH, excuse me, to set up, knowing that, of course, this is in the sights of IGL. And with the dragon spawning in 30 seconds too, do you think they should be moving all their members down here? 13 Ghosts, I don't think you can actually go up the top lane to clear if they want to contest this next dragon. KLH, of course, were the team to take the first dragon. Very interesting to see 13 Ghosts go up the top during this timing, because that would pretty much mean a 5v4 situation in the bottom. Not too sure what the KLH plan is here. They either need to activate aggression now in the bottom lane to get a 4v4 situation, but that's not going to happen. 13 Ghosts is walking down now. IGL on their side, because they only have an approximate timing of the dragon, they didn't know they could start it right now and have a 5v4 situation.
And they will have seen the dragon symbol actually starting off from this one. Will they take the Scuttle Crab first? Yes, I do expect them to take the Scuttle Crab. Gives them a little bit more initiation power as well. Ooh!
Almost sniped.
There we go.
Alright, so with the way both teams are posturing, it looks like KLH will be clearing out or wanting to clear out the vision in the dragon area. Well, there were some pings on the bottom tower. Scuttle Crab, speed, there they go!
They're gonna go for the equalizer. Cataclysm combo. Moon taken out very, very low. Puts down the depth charge out to Valkyrie. No damage at all coming up from Kuala Lumpur Hunters right now. Good kind of snipe coming in from Azura Vecchi. Azura Vecchi does manage to take down Rune. Rune tries to go down for Jae Young. However, LY4 now taken down quite low. Will be able to get away from this one. Will Valkyrie decide to dash over the wall here? The nice zone control coming out from Azura Vecchi and his satchel charges, as well as the explosive minefield, will be able to kind of zone away the ISG Legend squad.
Ooh, really have to watch out right there. IGL playing a very dangerous game. We were just talking about how KLH were going back to established vision. Oh, Caspio now is definitely going to get caught out right here. And yeah, it's just a really strange series of events from both these teams right here. IGL clearly knew KLH went back in the dragon area to get the vision. They overstayed, almost got sniped out by Azura Vecchi's bombs right there. And then Caspio, knowing that members got hit in the bush, perhaps thinking that they were low and backing off, decides to go in, gets caught out on their own. And I'm surprised KLH actually isn't going for this dragon right now. They definitely know that 4 members had to back off.
They have a window of opportunity, but I mean, with Jaeyoung as well as Caspio respawning only now, or just coming out of base now actually, it's going to be a tough time for them to get to dragon as fast as possible. And in addition to that, I don't think they want to risk that 50-50 smite battle.
Yeah, and it's a good sign again from the IGL squad, forcing the fights with all these tools that they have. Braum, Jarvan, Rumble. They know that definitely it's the ramp game coming in for KLH. We can see Rod of Ages not even picked up on the side of 13 Ghosts. But look at this, in terms of setting up around objectives, KLH just seem to be that much more prepared.
Yeah, there we see the equalizer coming in now. The second dragon being gifted to Kuala Lumpur Hunters here. They have completely no answer to the dragon control just yet, even though they took 3 turrets. That, I believe, is the answer to the dragon control, to try to solidify that with the objective movements here. But IGL Legends could have grouped up a lot faster, knowing that Kuala Lumpur just had the vision around the area and just contested. Because within the Baron Pit itself, it's a Cataclysm, it's the Glacial Fissure, as well as the Equalizer once it comes off cooldown, very potent in the Dragon Pit.
That's right. They have this composition that they basically, you know, picked in their first 2 rotations. Rapier here has to flash out or hop the rune. It's gotta hop the rune. There you go. And they actually, Valkyrie actually just used his E in. Not too sure why the collapse isn't coming from KLH on Valkyrie, but without any vision behind the pit, they decide to play it safe. But definitely we've seen already now 2 out of sync TPs coming out from LY4, and I do have to say this is rather uncharacteristic of him.
It is.
We've seen him basically use that TP very well in the past.
It makes me wonder if he's still the shot caller of this team, because you usually see very decisive plays coming out from LY4 squad here. I mean, I'm going to call it his squad because we tend to have LY4 being the shot caller of the team, so it could be a little bit frustrating. Maybe it's a little bit of nerves. And of course, this team here, different kind of synergy that we have. And you know, maybe Hallelujah here with the new addition to the ISG Legend squad might be making a few calls of his own.
That's right, it definitely doesn't seem to be as crisp as we have known these players to play before. I mean, they've definitely showed a very, very high level of not only individual skill, but team play. What has been in the favor of IGL, though, definitely is their timely aggression and the control over top side. Maokai just hasn't been having a great game at all. 13 Ghosts
nope, not at all.
Has been bullied out, and I cast my mind back to a few games ago where it was Jaeyoung still in the jungle, and 13 Ghosts was the lane he, I don't want to say had to camp, but definitely there was so much more focus.
They needed to get him rolling.
And
yeah.
again, 20 minutes in, not even the Rod of Ages. Might just have to be the Righteous Glory, honestly.
It's probably the Righteous Glory. You have that additional Ruby Crystal as well, so we should see the Crystalline Bracer built into that one for the Righteous Glory.
Alright then. Jaeyoung on his hand, only suffering from 1 death. CS score still relatively well. That's definitely the late game carry that KLH will be looking to bring them that victory. However, as it is, 4,000 gold up is IGL. Have the turrets in their favor as well. Just have to wonder, it does seem that IGL, in this game at least, is waiting for KLH to come to them. But here we go, Rune goes in.
Yeah, Rune goes in for Jaeyoung here. Jaeyoung will get dumpstered on by Hallelujah. It's going to be Valkyrie on the side. Going to turn around to 13 ghosts now. It's going to be that double here, the 2 for nothing in favor of ISG Legends, and they can definitely now set up for a push. Look at the top lane that's pushing in heavily in their favor, and right now it's going to be the mid lane push from LY4. They didn't even need LY4 there, as well as a 3-man push down bottom.
Yeah, unfortunately the KLH squad is about as tricky as... It's not tricky at all. I was looking for something worth and it didn't come up because when you have vision of the only other damage source in form of Ozoroveki in the mid lane, and Vayne is that far up the lane, you just activate aggression. Again, they have so many things available to them. Braum, Jarvan, Zed, Rumble. I mean, all of them were just like, alright, Vayne's way past the river, we could just go on this. Jaeyoung had his flash up, I believe, as well as his ultimate, but even that wasn't enough to get him out of that sticky situation. So KLH, they have their own game plan in mind, but they haven't really done what it needs to see that investment grow into its returns just yet.
Yeah, I also like the kind of aggression that ISG Legends are now kind of putting on. They've hit those Pyro Spikes, the level 11 Pyro Spikes now. And it's gonna start, they're gonna start to turn on the aggression. Look at Rune in the top lane here, going on to 13 Ghosts. We'll have the Death Mount available. We're gonna use the Death Mount right now. Actually, I think could have managed the cooldowns a little bit better there. In order to get the full damage of the Death Mount. Use the Living Shadow already before the Death Mount was applied. A little bit questionable there, but hey, what do I know about Zed? Moving on, we did see a gank attempt
Wolf.
coming in.
You know enough.
I know enough.
Because you were indeed right, but I do want to say that Rune most likely didn't go for the all-in because if you look at the top side, very, very sparse warding on the top side for IGL. So they don't... We talk about the dominance they had. They went in, got the red buff, got out. Didn't actually establish long-term vision there. Their pink wards are still quite far behind towards their own side.
Yeah, it's mainly the bottom half of the map that they want the vision for because they were setting up some picks. We might see Valkyrie actually try to duel Jaeyoung here down to half HP. Gonna turn down for the final hour with that condemn into the... there we go. He did get him into the Blade of the Ring King, like I said. And then we see Valkyrie getting taken down by Jaeyoung. I mean, yes, Lucian's a great duelist, but Vayne is still the queen of the night.
And very, very... I want to say unnecessary aggression right there from Valkyrie. 2 things. Number 1, again, the vision deep into the jungle. Not quite there. They have 1 ward, you know, above the river. That's not quite enough if you wanted to chase all the way. Could easily have been a Leona waiting in the wings or the likes of a Nautilus. And second thing is he gave away his killing spree. So Jaeyoung was having about an even game, or you could say not the best game, getting killed a few times. With that killing spree gold in his pocket, he's picked up his 2 core items.
To just even it out with Valkyrie, and even before that, we already saw the win here. Hallelujah gets jumped off. We see the solar flag. Nice rumble ultimate. Rune getting taken out so extremely low. Might try to go to the death mark here. I'm not entirely sure. First one to go down though is 13 Ghosts. He has completely no tank items at all outside of Righteous Glory, and even that doesn't give him a lot of durability.
Alright, no big ultimates available right now for KLH. So if IGL wants, they could force something. Get an objective somehow, whether it's pushing them off all Dragon.
Deciding to go for Dragon here.
They need to make up their mind.
They do need to make up their mind. Moon now, of course, getting extremely low. Nice smite coming out by Hallelujah. Winning the smite war, actually. Moon actually smited a little bit too early there.
And indeed, some happy claps coming out from the crowds. Just happy that, of course, that the Singapore team was able to get into that Dragon Pit because both teams seem very, very hesitant over that objective.
Yeah, it's just... Okay, it seems to me right now, Flavors, that IG Legends completely disregard the power of the dragon. It really does seem that way because they're like, okay, let's send our 2 main damage dealers, LY4 as well as Valkyrie, to kind of split push in the mid lane, where we send our lowest damage members of the team, Rapier as well as Hallelujah, to try to contest for Dragon.
Yeah, and the irony of the
low priority on Dragon.
Yeah, and the irony of the situation is that it was just 2 members coming down through the vision, by the way, of KLH. So it was a 2-on-2 for KLH. And perhaps it's the
Moon was low, juggled some of the Dragon aggro.
Yeah, I want to say it's the Achilles heel of this composition, Wolf, because when you've blown your big ultimates like the Death Charge, Leona's Eclipse, and the Ziggs, you know, Mega Inferno Bomb, you recognize that there's a huge dip in your power spike. But that wasn't a full team-on fight we were looking at. We were looking at 2-on-2 skirmishes in which we just saw Jaeyoung absolutely dump on Valkyrie. Where did that confidence go? Why didn't they just challenge the 2 members coming down on the side from IGL? I mean, that has allowed that 6% buff to go over to the IGL squad.
So we talk about the Dragon Train, and I think that the Dragon buff will be very much worth contesting if you manage to deny it away from IG Legends. And hey, if you lose 1 or 2 members for it, I don't think, you know, the objectives already went down already. Has already gone down, and it didn't really matter whether IG Legends killed those members or not, and just go for it. I mean, it's your 3rd Dragon buff. It puts you 2 away from that 5th Dragon, and you know that 5th Dragon buff is going to help you in team fights.
Okay.
Hallelujah here, catching out Caspio. Jaeyoung now getting hit by the Death Mark. He's going to pop right now. He might get taken out very low, and there we see the Equalizer as well as the Glacial Fissure being put down. Double slows coming in. 13 Ghosts now joining the fight with the Twisted Advance as well as the Teleport. We do see Hallelujah using the Flag and Drag combo to get himself to safety, and ta-da! We have IG Legends coming up big in the team fight as well, picking out 1 kill, pushing down some objectives, putting on pressure on the map, and overall is just pretty much easy pickings right here.
And you really got a feel for Jaeyoung. I mean, this guy...
He's always a target. I mean, he's always the target.
Right?
Yeah.
4 ultimates just got thrown at him. Even the flash coming in from Braum. And I want to say that as clearly telegraphed as it is into how you pick apart this composition from KLH, with that in mind, KLH has to be more ready. I mean, it's just going to be ultimates thrown at Vayne.
CLG Prime. It is.
Keep the AD carry alive, right? At all costs. At all costs.
The difference with this one is that, of course, the members are completely different between CLG Prime.
That's just a small difference.
Yeah.
No big deal. But of course, the strategy, I don't want to say it's outdated, but it's just about how you play it.
It's not working right now.
For the opposing team,
isn't working.
Right? The opposing team, you dive the AD carry. That's it. And for the enemy team, you have to create the zones of control. And they've done that. The last pick Ziggs was such a huge signal again. Put down the Hextech Minefield, put down the Satchel Charge, knock them back, all that kind of thing.
You know, all that stuff.
But it isn't coming together. Zoraveki basically threw his ultimate, and that was his contribution. Not the control, right? Damage is about Vayne. You know, you need to keep Vayne alive. It's not just your damage that we need. More importantly, they need Ozoroveki's control from his Ziggs, and that hasn't been happening the past 2 or 3 times they've gone into Vayne.
We have to see Jaeyoung now. Again, this is just no surprise to anyone. He's been sent to the furthest lane to split push away from the action, not joining the fight at all. Hopefully he's going to scale up as much as he can, but right now it's a 5-man stack at this turret here. They're going to continue to hammer in on this one. They're going to pop the locket, I believe.
Yes, that was the locket popped. However, the wave is still a little bit slow to get the tower, and Jaeyoung continues to split push now. We did see, of course, yet another weakness of this protect the AD carry composition. If your AD carry isn't with you, well, then you're going to get dived.
Yeah, you're going to get dived here. Hallelujah gets in onto the back line. 13 Ghosts is the first one that's going to go down to the death mark here. They're going to try to zone out both Zoraveki and Moon and gain and establish the dominance onto this turret. However, Zoraveki with his wave clear ability has prevented largely IG Legends from doing anything at all, and the split push strategy coming out from Jaeyoung and KLH has been working quite well.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that is they didn't get the tier 2. They had to burn summoners, they had to basically dive, give up potentially even vision control of this dragon since it's coming up in only 1 minute and they all have to back. And Jaeyoung, while he's been beat on this whole game, I don't want to say it's a complete strategical maneuver from KLH to give him the space he needs. It's more the fact that if IGL don't pay attention to him, you know, and don't repeatedly focus him, well, he's shown that he's capable, and KLH is capable of, you know, getting a tower just with 1 member, while 5 of you are occupied top, basically not getting the tier 2 of your own.
Yeah, they are not. He even got a Scuttle Crab to establish some vision control around that side of the map. Ooh, Vision Horde. Misplaced there, actually. Will not be able to see that one. They're gonna try to steal away the blue buff though. Let's see if that's successful. Got a smite out from Hallelujah. They're gonna clear the vision ward as well.
Smite used as well, of course. I do
Right
believe
before the dragon fight.
I do believe IGL has enough to stall, however, because Dragon still needs time to take down. And of course, the team that has more Dragon kills under their belt, the Dragon is more resilient and does more damage to those members. Really, really nice addition, I think. One of those that is often, I think, overlooked, I would say.
Yeah.
Overlooked by teams.
Hallelujah might be looking to make a flag here. This is going to be a great corridor for LY4 to land those equalizers. Jaeyoung though able to push Rune out of lane. Not going to allow Rune to go for a Z split push now. This is just going to be... Not entirely sure what it's going to be here.
Whoa, alright. So a bunch of skill shots, not quite landing. Eclipse dodged away, but here comes the full team fight.
Yeah, Valkyrie actually trying to run as far away as possible. The equalizer coming, great equalizer as well. Hallelujah jumping right in onto this one. Jaeyoung does get taken out by the equalizer bird. And there we see 2 more kills coming in favor of IG Legends. This is going to be the dragon picker and possibly a turret here. 30-second death timers. Note that in the 421 patch, Ranger Trailblazer has been changed to a longer cooldown. In addition to that, the death timers have been increased by a percentage as well.
And the crazy thing about that was that IGL, once again, without, I don't want to say setting it up quite right, but KLH just seemed to be very, very timid about protecting their own vision. For whatever reason, I don't think Caspian will get caught out here. Then again, he gets tagged. Oh, there's the damage coming through. He will get caught out. KLH very, very timid with protecting the vision. And it's all, again, the Achilles heel of the composition. Because Vayne was middle, IGL basically walked through numerous KLH wards in their own jungle and got a free pass establishing their own vision. You can see right now on the minimap, it's blue wards through and through in the dragon area.
I don't know, man. I mean, we talked about it in the ban and pick phase in Champion Select. Where is the damage from KLH coming from?
It's in Vayne. And if Vayne's not there, you can see how scared KLH is.
It's Vayne and Azura Vecchi right now. And your front line just deals 0 damage. Valkyrie's just gonna kite away from that one, and if you have Rune, Hallelujah, as well as Rapier diving your back line of Azura Vecchi and Jaeyoung, that's not gonna be happy days for them at all.
And I think definitely a little bit of frustration being reflected in the play from Jaeyoung and perhaps maybe even his shot calling, because approaching the Dragon Pit without sufficient vision in that narrow corridor, we saw a perfect equalizer coming down from LY4. Really, Jaeyoung got to do nothing in that whole fight because he was trapped right on top of that equalizer.
He was trapped in the Cataclysm and the equalizer. That's the combo that we want to see. We also saw Rapier use the Glacial Fissure as a form of disengage and a reinitiation tool here. Very decisive Baron call coming out from IG Legends now. Down to 6,000 HP. We will see the sapling come in. I don't think Nautilus will be able to steal this one. It's going to be the Mega Inferno Bomb coming in from Azura Vecchi that tries to spot this one out but is unable to do so. Jaeyoung now, of course, on split push duty once again with the triple core items of the Static Shift, Yomu's, as well as the Blade of the Ruined King.
And unfortunately, IGL just is calling them on this play, sending Rune down, who actually... Well, I would say Jaeyoung has the ability to outplay, has the playmaking ability to
be a
take
skill
down
matchup.
Rune. It will indeed be a skill matchup, but more importantly, while we talk about the individual skill he may possess, as a team, KLH is crippled when their AD carry just isn't with them. I mean, now that Azura Vecchi has his Rabadon's death cap, he is a bit more of a threat. But for the past 30 minutes, he was sporting a first item Zhonya's, and here we go!
Wow, this is going to be a huge dive coming up from IG Legends here. The equalizer put down perfectly, and so was the Glacial Fissure, and there we see the death mark coming in. Jaeyoung gets deleted from that fight. 13 Ghost has no durability at all. It's gonna be, whoa, there we go, the heal, the speed boost. Can Azura Vecchi get away from this one? And the slow from the turret is gonna prevent Valkyrie from picking up the ace here.
Crazy thing about that was that the ultimate from Zed, the death mark, wasn't even on Jaeyoung. He used it to close the distance onto Azura Vecchi. Landed, I think, 1 auto attack and then used AoE. That was really, really nicely done by Rune to get onto the back line. I mean, that's what the Z pick's for. If you pick a composition which basically has one main threat, well, play your assassin to its tip-top shape.
I wish we could see that team fight again, honestly. If we take a look at what happened in that team fight, oh, some crazy stuff happening there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jaeyoung with his positioning allowed Jarvan to jump on him with the Cataclysm first. which is a very dire positioning
It was a
mistake as an AD
flash
carry.
cataclysm, and then
Sure.
we saw the flash out from Jaeyoung. And then we had Harlilia going with the flag and drag combo.
That's right.
And we even saw the glacial fissure used to kind of not really disengage, but just slow everyone in general. Allow LY Force teleport to come down. We saw that teleport come in really, really late as well. And even then, the equalizer just cut the team into half, and they were all forced to run through that equalizer.
It's laser focused on the side of IGL.
It's really good. I mean, the moment the teleport came down, it was like Harlilia, flash, cataclysm, flag and drag combo. We saw glacial fissure, then we saw the equalizer. Boom, boom, kablam, splat when Rune went in, and there we go.
Yeah, and that's how IGL should be playing against this composition. And honestly, again, I just have to say it again, KLH, when they pick like this, there are clear strengths and weaknesses of the composition. The way IGL is going to engage on you isn't anything sneaky. There haven't been any kind of flanks. It's just right onto your AD carry. And the zone control just has been lacking. Why wasn't Rune locked down? I mean, yes, Zed is very, very mobile with his shadows. You can argue that point all day long. But when you pick this composition, you're basically saying, we're ready for that. You know, and they aren't. They aren't. That's a statement that they, you know, they're making with the composition, but their play hasn't reflected that, unfortunately.
Right, there we go. Kuala Lumpur Hunters here, just coming in onto this one, defending the bottom inhibitor turret. Baron buff, of course, on the 421 patch only lasts for 180 seconds, 3 minutes instead of the 4 minutes. So that's gonna be a little bit of a timer there, of course, on the Baron. 33 seconds before the next dragon comes up. It's 2-2 in terms of dragon buffs here. So with IG Legends having that inhibitor in their favor, of course, they should be backing away from this one. Picking up the dragon here, the depth charge landing onto Valkyrie now. They're gonna just disengage from this. Not much action happening just yet, and they blew a bunch of cooldowns. Everyone on the side of IG Legends just held on to it. They knew that they did not need to use it at all.
And I do want to say, unfortunately for the KLH squad, the way they've been using their cooldowns haven't really been optimal. We're talking about a Vayne you need to protect. They launch everything onto... That's just to zone them away from the inhibitor. They launch everything at Valkyrie's Lucian, but who's going to follow up on that? Vayne's not going to be diving into the mess of 5 people. They need to... Again, this is going to be a best of 2 series, guys, so I'm going to reference the second game here already. They really need to think about, if they want to play this composition, using those cooldowns in a more optimal way.
Not much action happening right now. We've got the double inhibitors going down here.
Dragon has respawned. They are both teams actually sitting at 2 dragons apiece, so they might want to head over to that, get the movement speed buff. Of course, we should mention that in 4.21, the tower damage already is obtained on the second buff. This third buff will give them the movement. And they really should be looking to close out this game. I think IGL perhaps not. I want to say again, KLH really has been handing them team fights on the platter, especially the last one where all the cooldowns were burnt onto Lucian. I mean, that's pretty much the lowest power spike or lowest power level you're going to find KLH at this point in the game, guys.
Okay, Lucian in that one fight got hit by a little bit of the solar flare. Got hit by the depth charge. And that was it. And he got taken down to what?
I'm pretty sure that the Mega Inferno Bomb was thrown as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean,
basically the point is, right, that IGL knows the big cooldowns that would allow for zone control, for PO, for Vayne, not there. And yet they decide to basically make a very half-hearted effort using the Rumble Ultimate to zone them away from the inhibitor. I think we could possibly say the benefit of doubt, a very safe play, but they have so much power in their hands, it would be nice to see a bit more of a decisive victory being closed out from the IGL squad.
See, they're going on full tutorial mode here. 40 seconds till the Baron respawns.
Looks like KLH still a little too timid. They need to go now. They don't think they will be able to lock anybody down. There comes the action now. Not too sure if they will be able to pick off any kills. It looks like Jaeyoung is surviving long enough. I am just kidding. Who am I kidding, really? They have managed to pick off Jaeyoung once again. He has been the focus in all these fights. Thought he might have been able to escape from the chain of spells that were just launched at him, but it was not to be. Meanwhile, Valkyrie just looking chill as a penguin in the back despite all the ultimates being launched his way. And, well, full tutorial mode as you called it, Wolf. All inhibitors down, and I guess they're just going to go back. Shop. Baron is alive for them as well. They could pick that up on their return trip. While KLH, again, with their AD-centric composition, really have no options available to them with their AD carry down.
And there you go, the Baron now attempting two-man Baron here.
Valkyrie on the way, they should be able to take this. Though none of them are particularly healthy actually.
Nope.
Somebody's gonna die here.
Yeah.
There you go. I told you. Alright, small price to pay. Sometimes blood must be shed to obtain Baron.
Blood must be shed, but this time, of course, this death fear does give KLH a little bit of a timer.
Indeed. So, could it be enough information for the amazing comeback? I don't think so. Really, the score should be screaming to IGL, if not anything else, that they can close out this game.
They could have closed out the game 10 minutes ago, Flavors. 10 minutes ago.
Indeed.
They could have.
You know, it's easy for us to see everything here.
It is
laid
easy
out to us, getting to see both blue and red side. But while they are taking their time with it, I do think that the game is in the bag for them. And on the side of KLH, they will need to be thinking if they want to run this Jaeyoung AD-centric composition once again, can they protect him well enough? Because fight after fight, even full-on 5-on-5s, they just haven't been able to use their zone control and the abilities to keep him alive.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you ought to talk about protect the AD compositions. Oh, there we go. We might see a fight starting right now. It is going to be a bunch of ultimates blown on the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Every single thing being used here outside of the depth charge and deleting Hallelujah in that 1-5. No idea why Hallelujah decided to flag and drag himself into that team. But of course, Rapier with that disengage on the side of the Glacial Fissure here. And now we see Rune as well as Valkyrie joining the fight now. So, really awkward timing for the side of Hallelujah to actually jump right in where there is no backup. No damage dealers, actually.
Definitely not respecting the amount of control that can still come out.
And there we go, we see
man.
the equalizer, the 5-man equalizer coming in, taking down everyone to about half HP. The Zhonya's Hourglass and Valkyrie with the cleanup. Rune jumping in right here. And there we see Ozora Veki running right into the turret. The Fountain, of course, healing him up. They're looking to take him down, actually.
Oh, the outplay!
With the Zhonyas. But hey, it's the Winions. The Winions for the win.
42 minutes long, 24-7. IGL taking their time with this victory. A very clear-cut case, as you said, Wolf. 10, I would argue maybe even 15 minutes. Of course, KLH on their part did show that they had some early game plans in mind. The lane swaps coming in early on and then getting those two dragons. But you know, IGL said, hang on a second. We know the game you're up to. You just want to ramp up. They really put a stop to that strategy.
We talk about ramping up. Look at the amount of gold that's distributed onto Jaeyoung.
Oh, man.
15.7 thousand gold, as well as Ozora Veki on the 15,000 gold. That's almost twice what Caspiel as well as 13 Ghosts has.